All right, guys, we're still 3-0 in our last three board member tier package bets on brockpage.com. And if you want to access today's board member tier package bet, the link for that play is in the description section below. $1,000 bettors are up over $2,700 during that stretch. We currently have over 835 folks who are signed up and active on that website right now. And if you want to know what the difference is between what I do here on YouTube and what I do on my website, I'll explain a little bit more about that at the end of the video. But with that, guys, let's go ahead and dive into our third and final installment here today in Major League Baseball. We're going to take a look at the Athletics taking on the Rays, 6:40 p.m. Eastern first pitch on Wednesday, April 13th, 2022. Tampa Bay's minus 185, total 7.5. Shane McClanahan for Tampa Bay, Frankie Montas for Oakland. And even though Frankie got knocked around a bit in the opener, he's coming off a 13-9 season in Oakland, where he had a .337 ERA and 207 strikeouts. I actually think those numbers are a little bit more indicative of the way he can play. And when it comes to this Oakland lineup here, these guys can certainly hit the baseball. They're in the top 5 in homers per 9. And they're averaging nearly 7 runs a game. Now, Seth Brown's hit a couple of homers and has 8 RBI. Meanwhile, Chad Pinder hit a couple of bombs himself and has scored 5 times already. They're taking on a Tampa team who's actually in the bottom 10 in opponents' OPS. They're also amongst the worst in the American League in home runs allowed per contest. Now, total-wise, Tampa Bay's last 4 straight all got over the total of 7.5 runs. Meanwhile, Oakland saw 3 out of their last 5 get over the posted number themselves. I'm going to lean toward Oakland plus 1.5 in the over 7.5 runs. Next ball game, Blue Jays, Yankees, 7:05 East. The New York Yankees are minus 165, totals 8 runs. Garrett Cole for New York, Jose Barrios for Toronto. And even though Barrios had a forgettable season debut, he still had an ERA in the 3s in 4 out of his last 5 seasons. As a matter of fact, Barrios finished last year with a .352 ERA and a 1.06 WHIP. He's also got he's a pretty big strikeout guy as well. Barrios fanned 204 batters last year in just 192 innings. Now, offensively, George Springer, he's 9 for 22 with a couple of homers and 18 total bases. Meanwhile, Teoscar Hernandez has a 1.125 OPS, along with a homer and 3 RBI. And speaking of home runs, the Jays are currently in the top 5 in homers per 9. They're taking on a Yankee team who's got Garrett Cole on the mound here today. He's got a .675 ERA through 4 innings of work. Meanwhile, offensively, the Yankees are scoring only 3.2 runs a game. Now, total-wise, New York's 4-1 to the under thus far in the year. Meanwhile, Oakland saw 3 out of their last 5 fall under the line themselves. I'm going to lean toward Toronto plus 1.5 in the under 8 runs. Next game, Brewers, Orioles, 7:05 East. Milwaukee's minus 170, totals 8 runs. Corbin Burns for Milwaukee, John Means for Baltimore. Now, Means struck out 5 batters in just 4 innings of work this year. He officially has a .225 ERA. Now, the O's have also successfully cashed in on the run line in their last 2 home games, and they rank in the top 3 in fewest homers allowed per 9. They're taking on a Milwaukee team who ranks in the bottom 10 in home runs at the plate, and they're also amongst the worst in the National League in scoring. They also have Corbin Burns on the mound here today, who actually comes into this game with a .540 ERA officially after just 1 start. And speaking of the pitching in this one, Milwaukee's allowing nearly 5.5 runs per contest. Now, scoring-wise, 6 out of these teams' last 10 meetings fell under the posted number. So if you're into historical trends, you certainly want to think about that one there. Meanwhile, Baltimore is a perfect 5-0 to the under for the entire season themselves. I'm going to lean toward Baltimore plus 1.5 in the under 8 runs. And with that, guys, we're going to jump into our next and final matchup for the show. It is going to be Mariners versus the White Sox, 7 o'clock Eastern start time. Chicago's minus $1.20, totals 9. Dallas Keuchel for Chicago, Robbie Ray for Seattle. And even though Robbie had a real nice start in the opener, the Seattle pitching staff allows more homers per game than any other team in the majors. Now, offensively, they're also in the bottom. Three in batting average, and they're scoring only 2.5 runs a game. They're taking on a Chicago team who allows only 2.5 runs a game themselves, and they actually strike out nearly 11 batters per contest as well. Dallas Keuchel had an ERA in the 3s or better in 6 out of his last 8 seasons. And when it comes to the hitting in this one, the Chicago lineup's in the top 5 in the majors in scoring. Luis Roberts, 6 for 16 with a homer and 5 runs scored. Meanwhile, Jose Abreu's 5 for 14 with 6 runs and 7 total bases. And speaking of striking out, well, the White Sox don't do it much. They're fanning only 5 times a game at the plate. Now, total-wise, Chicago saw just one ball game this year get over the total of 9 runs. Meanwhile, Seattle's 4-1 of the under in their last 5 themselves. I'm going to lean toward Chicago minus 120. And the under 9 runs. And with that, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on BrockPage.com. Now, if you guys do end up getting a membership here today on my website, just keep in mind, you're going to get billed the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. So if you do end up getting a membership here today on my website, you are going to get access to that membership every single day all the way through the end of April. I always tell folks in every single video, the earlier in the month you sign up, the better. And guys, if you want to get access to every single bet that I give out on that website, you're going to want to think about signing up for my board member tier package. Not only do board members get access to the board member tier bet itself, they actually get full access to every single package that I offer on that website every single day, all the way through the end of April. It's an all-inclusive package. Now, guys, you may be wondering what the difference is between what I do here on YouTube and what I do on my website. Well, what I do here on YouTube is I'll handicap the entire slate of games in any given sport, side, and total. And what I do on BrockPage.com is I actually share with you which one of these free YouTube picks on my channel that I'm actually betting on personally. But most importantly, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. Now, real quick, guys, we're not doing an NBA free pick video today because we have a bunch of NBA personal bet action. I got a handful of bets going off here today in my personal life in the NBA, so I cannot give them out for free here today. So just want to make sure you are aware of that. But anyway, with that in mind, guys, happy Wednesday to you. Happy hump day to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at BrockPage.com.